What's up and welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Friday, September 15th, 2023. Of course, I am Tim Geddes and I'm joined by the new face of video games, Blessing Adeoye Jr.
Good morning, Tim.
Happy Friday to you, Bless.
Happy Friday. We're
I
home.
feel like me and you and Barrett and the whole team worked so hard yesterday that it might as well have been a whole week. Like I feel like it
Oh my
was
God.
like this Friday we have earned.
I got home and I tried to stream some Mortal Kombat, and usually nowadays I don't stream as much, but I was feeling it with Mortal Kombat 1. I'm like, you know what? Let's give myself a treat. Right?
Yeah.
Let's hang out. Let's hang out with the chat. Let's play some Mortal Kombat 1. And when I tell you that like 30 minutes into the stream, I'm like, oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Like I just did a whole day of content, and now I am trying to fight people online in this fighting game while also trying to make more content. I need to just end the stream and go to bed.
Yeah,
That's what I
man.
did. It was great.
Dude, no, exactly. I went to bed pretty early last night too, like maybe like 10, which is early for me. And I think I fell asleep in my chair playing Pokemon the Teal Mask on my Switch. And Gia was like, Tim, it's time to go. I was like, you know what? Thank you for that.
Yeah, did you get around to listening to the new Nas album?
No, fuck. I keep messing this up, Wes. You got to keep me honest
It's
on
Friday.
this shit.
Friday is the release day.
Damn.
Okay. Oh, wait. When did it come out? Did it come out?
It came out last night.
Last night. Okay, yeah. Okay. I have not listened yet. I will listen today. Oh, I'm very excited. What a weekend we have ahead of us.
Oh, yeah. That was a new Drake single that dropped with SZA. And Drake, for the longest time, has been saying he's going to take us back to the old Drake. And let me tell you, I think he tried. He tried to take us back to the old Drake.
I'll take an attempt.
It's close. It's a little bit there. Like, part of it's like, okay, well, it's still new Drake, but whatever. I'll listen to it. It's SZA. I love SZA, so it's a good music Friday.
Good. Oh, good for everybody involved. But hey, we're not talking about music here. We're talking about video games because this is Kind of Funny Games Daily, where each and every weekday we come at you live with all the video game news that you need to know. You can check it out live on twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames or youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. You can also get it as a VOD later on YouTube or roosterteeth.com. And you can get it as a podcast by searching your favorite podcast service for Kind of Funny Games Daily, and we'll be right there for you. If you wanted to go above and beyond, though, patreon.com/kindoffunny is where you want to go. You get the show ad free. You get a whole bunch of bonus content. You can be a Patreon producer like Brave Athos, Jedi Master Deadpool, Delaney Twining. We appreciate all of you so very, very much. We just like to give options to everybody. Options to watch our content and listen to the content the way that they want to. Content like our Spider-Man 2 preview that's up right now as a new episode of PS I Love You, XOXO. You can get it in all the normal places. That was me, Andy, and Bless talking all about my experience playing a couple hours of Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 5. Oh, man, Bless.
It's a must watch, of course, must listen episode. One of my favorite previews that we've done because I think we're just all like, there's so many questions to be asked and answered. And like, it was me, it was Andy, but then also I picked some of the best audience questions that I think we've gotten. And oh man, am I way more excited now to play this game. I was already excited for Spider-Man 2, but hearing you talk about it, especially on top of the state of play that we got later in the day yesterday, oh man, like, yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah, man, it's good. It's damn good, but you got to check out all my thoughts over on PS I Love You. And our live reactions to the state of play that Bless was talking about is up right now, in addition to our Nintendo Direct reaction. So yesterday, big showcase day. And hey, honestly, I keep saying this, but Bless, Nintendo and PlayStation, they brought it yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Yesterday was a great day. I mean, yesterday like has me. This is again one of those things where already I was excited for the rest of the year and I was excited for next year. But now I'm like, fuck, dude, you're telling me we're gonna talk about it like Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth?
Come on,
it's coming out in February, and it looks like that. Oh, let's fucking go.
Dude, exactly. And also the Nintendo Directs, like I said this when we did our reactions and I guess even on Games Daily, but it's like I understand that it might not be the most exciting direct of like the next big Zelda and Mario and Metroid and all that, but for what is pretty sure to be the Switch's last year, this is an amazing lineup that has a lot of consistent releases that if you compare to the 3DS or the Wii U or literally any other Nintendo system, it's like we're eating right now.
That's my thing is if I looked at this next year of the Switch as the Switch's last year, right? And I'm like looking at the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse, right? I'm looking at the Luigi's Mansion 2 HDs. I'm looking at the Princess Peach game. I'm looking at these games where it's like, ooh, all right, this console is on its last legs. I couldn't ask for a better 4 Horsemen,
No.
This is the best apocalypse ever.
Dude, I did not expect one of the horsemen to be Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door.
Exactly.
So you know what? We're winning out.
It's
here.
like, yo, welcome in. Like 4 horsemen, sit down. We're gonna make you a dinner. we're gonna. Do you want water? I have White Claw. Let's set the table for the horsemen. Come in.
But here's the thing, Nintendo. This time they're like, hey, we got more than 4 horsemen, man. Here's like 20 horsemen.
Yeah, like okay, we're gonna close this thing right. It feels like it's like senioritis, but it's like you made friends. It's like you're in the cool kids crew of the seniors. Where it's like, yo, this is our last year. This is the last semester.
Let's show up, man.
We're gonna treat this semester right, though. We're having parties every fucking week.
They're not just going to like the dances at their school. They're also going to proms at all the other high schools.
They're attending all the other schools in the area. Like they're going to the other house parties, ruining other people's houses. Fuck man, this is exciting. 2024 is about to be hype.
It's great, man. Today we're brought to you by Rocket Money and DraftKings Sportsbook, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We got 8 stories today.
A baker's dozen.
Which is insane because story number 1 is like 15 stories.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in video games, whether it's news, whether it's playing them, whether it's reviews, previews, like, oh my Lord, things are popping off and I could not be happier. But let's get right into it. Story number 1, everything announced at the PlayStation State of Play for September 2023. This comes from Sam Loveridge at Games Radar. Baby Steps got a new trailer showing its physics-based silliness and dry humor. It's arriving summer 2024. This looked hilarious. Great way to start the direct. Weird as all hell, but very, very, very funny.
Yeah, I was nervous about it at first because I'm like, oh, this is really how you want to start the direct. But once they got into it, I think the trailer did its job, right? Like this being the next game from, was it Bennett Foddy? Like, you're wrong me if I'm wrong about that name, but like of course the guy who also did Getting Over It. I was gonna say Quap, but the guy who did Getting Over It, right? It's another one of those, but the humor here seems like it's really hidden. The visuals of it look so rough, but obviously like that's part of the game, right? Like that's part of the bit. I think it was a bold choice to start the State of Play off with this, but from everything I can gather, right, it seems like everybody's pretty pleased by this. Like this is one where if you get it, you get it, and if you don't get it, then it's just not for you.
I mean, it legitimately made me laugh. Like some of the dialogue, and it's the type of jokes and shit that like could really not be funny. But I was like, oh man, they're hitting that pocket of like, oh, they're diving all the way into this thing, and like, yeah, I'm there to meet them in the middle. So next up, we had Roblox coming to PS4, not PS5, on October 10th. This was news that me and Bless looked at each other like, oh yeah. We both definitely knew that this game wasn't already on this console.
No, I knew. It was Mike Howard was the one that looked at me and was like, "Oh, this isn't on PlayStation." I'm like, Mike, you know this is on PlayStation, all right, Mr. XCast. But yeah, cool. I guess Roblox coming to PlayStation. I didn't realize it wasn't coming to PS5. I don't know if that's weird or not. I don't know what's weird or not when it comes to Roblox, right? Because it's just not in my space. Like I don't think about Roblox ever. But cool. Like the PlayStation audience getting access to it. I know Roblox is one of those things where it's a big community for a certain sect of people. I think those people are way younger than I am, right? Like the people who play Roblox only play Roblox, right? Because Roblox is a bunch of games in one, essentially. And so, good for y'all.
Yeah,
y'all did it.
Hell yeah, it's happening on PS4. Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord is dropping on PSVR 2 on October 26th. I'm sure Greg Miller is extremely happy about this being a Ghostbusters game taking place in San Francisco and giving him an excuse to use the PSVR 2. So wins all around.
One of the couple of PSVR 2 games in this presentation.
Yeah. Next up, we had Resident Evil 4 PSVR 2 edition coming winter 2023, which like it's wild. Like the fact that one of the best games of all time can now be played in a very impressive VR experience, just the whole game. Yeah. That's cool as hell, man.
Really cool to watch. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up or not yet.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like a really fun experience, but I just beat Resident Evil 4 earlier this year, and I'm like, do I really want to do a second playthrough again right now on PSVR 2?
Probably not.
Or winter 2023, I guess. For you, with these being the 2 PSVR 2 games showed off, Tim, does this feel like enough for a PSVR 2 showing at the State of Play?
Man. Yes and no. I feel like it is enough for what the PSVR 2 is. I don't think it's enough for what we wished the PSVR 2 would be. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like it's like, yeah, this makes sense. These are big games. Again, I just complimented the hell out of it. Like Resident Evil 4, playable in VR, working the way that I guarantee is going to work. Good for them. Like, that's awesome. We know that Resident Evil works in VR because we've seen it already. But RE4 is like the best of them. So that's just super awesome. Ghostbusters looks cool. If you're here for that, you're definitely here for that. But I mean, I personally wanted Astrobot, which I know I'm just asking for an old game, but it's like I'm looking for an excuse to borrow your PSVR 2.
Yep. Which is somewhere in
that's
this room.
where I'm at in this conversation, is looking for an excuse to borrow someone's. You know what I mean? So like, I don't think that this did a great job of selling new people, but I'm sure this did a decent job of satiating the people that already owned one.
Yeah, that's my. I mean, I'm somebody who already owns one, right? And I'm like, I look at this, and it's not enough for me to bust out the PSVR 2 and like, you know, like actually use it. And I want to be where the people are at that argue with me and Greg about PSVR 2 and about how, you know, it still has a lively library, it's still worthwhile, it's all these things, right? Because like, I look at RE4, and RE4 is, we've known about RE4 coming to VR forever, right? Like that's something. That's not a new announcement necessarily. It's nice to get that winter 2023 window, but that on top of Ghostbusters: Rise of the Ghost Lord, we knew that was coming as well. It's nice to get the release date of October 26th. But for me, I think when they mentioned that we're gonna have PSVR 2 here, or software for PSVR 2 here, I was expecting to get something new, right? Oh, what surprises do you have for me for PSVR 2? What new? I know like State of Play isn't necessarily always the place for a new first party title to be announced, but like, do you have new first party titles for PSVR 2, or was Horizon calling them out and it, you know, can I still expect more of that stuff? I have so many questions about it, and like I don't want answers that will not like have my PSVR 2 just sitting in my closet for the rest of eternity, right? I want to bust this thing out, but I feel like I'm not getting worthwhile enough answers. I hope we get that soon.
Well, you played Resident Evil 4 for the first time this year, Bless. You might not be playing it again in VR, but you might want to play the DLC Separate Ways, dropping next week alongside a free Mercenaries update. But you might not, because next week there's a lot going on.
That's really exciting, though. I know when Resident Evil 4 came out, a lot of people were talking about, oh, but what about Separate Ways? Are we going to get that as DLC? It's nice getting that as the answer, and it's wild that it's coming out next week. That's pretty insane. Tim, I almost, because of course me, Janet, Greg, and the Xcast have our fantasy draft, and with this State of Play, Helldivers 2 got delayed into 2024, and so don't tell anybody this. At least don't tell the Xcast this, or Janet or Greg. I had to drop Helldivers, right? And now I'm on the lookout for another game. Ooh. I looked at Separate Ways because DLC is allowed. I looked at Separate Ways and went, "Is that the one? Do I pick up Separate Ways, or is that going to screw me on the Metacritic?"
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know.
What do you think a Separate Ways does Metacritic wise? Do you think it's big enough of a splash?
No, I don't. That's the problem. Is I don't think enough people are going to review it for it to really like.
And for Fantasy Critic rules, it has to like have like a certain amount of reviews for you to get the points. Plus.
Yeah.
How many reviews did the Resident Evil Village DLC get? I know like the other thing is that like there's just so many games, but RE4 is big enough that I think enough people would review it.
Maybe.
I mean, but it's also a super busy time.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like I think it's big enough that like sites like IGN or like GameSpot maybe do like wiki pages for it or like gameplay like videos for it. I don't know if it's big enough for like a full.
And here's my other thing, right? I looked up Resident Evil Village Winter's Expansion. IGN 6 out of 10. GameSpot 6 out of 10. So maybe I just stay away from Resident Evil DLC.
Maybe you shouldn't. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna keep looking.
But moving on, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. We got a story trailer showing off some gameplay as well. This remains something that like I think looks really damn cool. I like Avatar a lot. I just don't love Far Cry type open games. So if this was a Jedi Survivor game, I would be like annoyingly loud about this, but it doesn't seem like it is. So I'm just going to be like cautiously optimistic for a game that at the end of the day, I'm probably never going to actually complete, but I'm excited to pop into this thing and see the colors pop because these colors be popping, Bless. I don't know if you saw.
I mean, the colors be popping. I think it's really cool to see that they got Ross dressed for less in space, and they got Nordstrom Rack. These blue people are just rocking just regular ass graphic tees and shit. I mean, this looks cool. I'm not super excited for it because everybody knows I am not an Avatar person. I've not seen the movies. I don't really care about Avatar like that. But if it plays like Far Cry, I could see myself picking it up just to mess around and maybe falling in love with it that way. But yeah, I mean, I think it's another good trailer. Shout out to them for continuing that marketing cycle. And it seems like that December date is going to stick, which is really cool. And I think that's going to be good for them.
Exactly. I think at this point that date stays. I feel like this would have been the time for them to move it if they were going to. Ghost Runner 2 had a demo. You can play it right now. 3 new PS5 cover plates.
Oh, really quick, just for the Ghost Runner 2, of course, our boy Andy Cortez really loves Ghost Runner 1, and I think he played the demo for 2 on his personal stream last night, and he said it was like one of the best demos he's ever played. So
Ooh.
I know. So that's got me excited enough that I think I'm going to download this as well and check it out, despite all of the other games I need to be playing.
I mean, I don't know that there's ever been a game that looks cooler than this. It's this and Katana Zero. Like, do you like 3D or do you like 2D? Cool. Here's just cool. That's all that it is. That's
Katana
more than
Zero's
that. They're
so
good
sick.
games too. But yeah, then next up we had 3 new PS5 cover plates. Like whatever. Earth Toads or whatever the fuck they were calling them.
I wish there was something like extra here about these plates. I really like when for a second I thought it was DualSense Edge colors. I was like, this is fucking sick. Let's fucking go. The fact that it's just more earthy tones, which I don't even think I'd call these earthy tones, right? Like, all right, cool. I guess.
Yeah. More options are cool, but yeah, this one didn't really do much for any of us personally. Then Helldivers 2 showed off some proper co-op gameplay, and it got delayed to February 2024, which all of us rejoiced in. This feels like the right move for this game. We've been saying it for a while.
Does it now that February 2024 seems insane?
I still think that even with an insane February, safer than this insane October that we have that's coming off of the last couple months. I feel like having right now January is so open that hitting in that early February, I think you're going to be in a better place.
I hope so, because right now with February, there's going to be more games announced for February. We're still in that part of the year where more dates are going to be announced for next year, and I think right now February could end up being the October of early 2024, where we got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, we got Helldivers 2, we got Persona 3 Reload, we got Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and that's just off the top of my head without even opening up.
And as of right now, though, right, like the only competition this game has is Suicide Squad, and not a lot of people are hot on Suicide Squad, right? So maybe people who are looking for that like 4-person co-op kind of chaotic stuff might look over to this and be like, oh, well, this actually seems a bit more genuine in what it's trying to do.
I think I would bet many pizzas that this is going to be better than Suicide Squad. So yeah, I think it has that going for it. Now that I've opened up the Game Informer page for next February, right? You got Grand Blue Fantasy, that's going to be for a specific audience. Tomb Raider 1 through 3 remastered, that's cool. Mario versus Donkey Kong, the big hitter of February. Everyone needs to get out the fucking way of Mario versus Donkey Kong. Dude. Nightingale, and then you got Destiny 2, The Final Shape, which is going to be a pretty big splash for Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Right now, if February holds and nobody else starts planting flags in February, then I think we're good. But I just have a fear that like 4 more games are going to be like, yo, what if we did February? Because that's the hot month. Year to year, February is hot. Maybe not this last February, but the February before this last February, where it was Horizon and Elden Ring and Dying Light 2 and Sifu and Pokemon The Legends Arceus. Like, February is that spot. I'm just scared we're going to get more games in there.
We had Marvel Spider-Man 2. We got this really, really, really awesome video talking about all the new features that make 2 awesome. And I think that they just did a great job in whatever it was, 2-3 minutes kind of explaining, hey, this is why Spider-Man 2 is the sequel. Like this is what makes it bigger and better. The fast travel looks incredible. Like how the balance between Miles and Peter is going to go. Really, really cool stuff. I think this was a great compliment to the demo that we got to play and talk about on PS.
Yeah.
I love you.
The thing I've seen circulating online is the fast travel, where you click that spot on the map, or you hold the fast travel button, and then immediately it zooms in, and your character's already in the motion of swinging. That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Like that's the best display of the SSD and the PS5, right? The way that they're talking about it, the way that they're promoting it. I think that is such a the proof is here. Like the proof's in the pudding. Like we got it. So good on them for being able to pull that off and display that in that way. And yeah, like we talked about earlier, I couldn't be more excited for this game as another Spider-Man game, right? Like it seems like they're doing everything right.
Yeah. Go listen to our preview because I could talk forever about that. But Tales of Arise Beyond the Dawn was announced and is coming November 9th, 2023.
It's another one I thought about for my fantasy draft.
Oh, yeah?
We'll see what happens.
Honkai Star Rail's PS5 launch is coming in October. Foam Star's open beta party coming later this month. Mike is very excited. And then Final Fantasy VII Rebirth coming out on leap year, February 29th, 2024. Vincent, he's back, baby. There's a collector's edition here, and you can get 19 inches of Sephiroth for $350. The PS5 exclusivity blocks Final Fantasy VII Rebirth PC release until at least May 29th, 2024. Those are just some editorial notes from Games Radar over there.
Also, really quick, people I think were pointing out yesterday that it seems like Vincent is being voiced by Matt Mercer, and Matt Mercer just continues to make every video game character he voices just very, very hot with Ganondorf and now Vincent from Final Fantasy VII, which is going to be fucking insane. I love it. It's great.
That's super exciting. Were people simping for Vincent before? Were people
Vincent?
There was a Vincent hive?
Vincent is like the OG. Like he is the blueprint for like emo goth boyfriend kind of shit. You know, he's.
Ooh, I cannot wait to see what this reaction is going to be from people.
Bless. Like Vincent was so simped after that, like he got his own game on PS2.
Was that game good?
Okay.
No. But he got his own game.
Gotcha. Because I didn't know if this was gonna be like a Jesse situation of, oh snap, like we didn't realize.
Oh
like,
no,
your game.
No.
Like we didn't realize what you had until FF7.
Vincent's very different, and it is a much smaller character. Well, I mean, I guess Jesse as well, but like Vincent's like an optional party character in Final Fantasy VII. But yeah, and Kate said as well, having them all back, like I just love that it, like seeing this. I mean, everything about this I'm excited about. Like I can't believe that we're getting this trailer. We have the release date, February 29th. I think that is sooner than any of us were like really expecting. I know we've been talking a lot, and I kept saying that I do think it was going to be on the earlier side, but I feel like we were still talking about March or April, right? Like so it coming at the end of February, like that is very, very exciting. And I love the goofy stuff they have going on here. It seems like they're staying true, just like Final Fantasy VII Remake did, to what made Final Fantasy VII so special, which was the melodrama and all the bullshit, but then also chocobo races and like weird ass karaoke things. So like good for them.
What's wild to me is that Square seemingly is going to be able to pull off having this game come out like less than 4 years after Final Fantasy VII Remake, right? Like just approaching the 4-year mark. For like I think a cadence in like a franchise where you wouldn't expect a game until maybe 6 or 7 years, right? Like the meme that we give to Square Enix is like, oh, you're announcing this game, cool, we'll see you a decade from now. Like we don't really believe these things exist until we're sitting down in front of our TVs playing them. The fact that this game came out when I was already working at Kinda Funny, like that blows my mind. Like I'm still early. I'm late enough to be working at Kinda Funny now to where I'm seeing a lot of sequels, but still early enough to where like to see a sequel of a game come out that I was on the review for before. Yeah, that's kind of like a Square game. That's insane to me. Like when you look at that year, Ghost of Tsushima 2 isn't anywhere close, right? Like that came out the same year. The next Naughty Dog game isn't anywhere close.
So Naughty Dog's different, but like granted, at Sucker Punch, much smaller team, like significantly smaller team than what we're talking about here. But to your point, and you're right, and I've been saying this, like we need to get over this whole thing of like, oh, Square games, like they're a decade in the making and whatever. It's like, no, man, Final Fantasy 16 also came out. And it was announced that year and then came out, and it's like they're in a good place. And I also, going back to it, Kingdom Hearts 4, I think that we're going to see more of that sooner than later. And get prepared, everybody.
What you're saying, everything you're saying makes absolute sense. It's just when you say the proper noun of Kingdom Hearts 4, where I'm like, no. No. Like, everything you say lines up. Yeah, everything you say is sensible. It lines up. You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to see Kingdom Hearts 4 until 2033. I don't believe it's real.
Also, Bless, really quick, can we be the kind of people that brings together Square Enix and Atlas to be like, hey, can you guys stop putting out your games so fucking close to each other? Because last time Final Fantasy VII Remake came out, it was close to Persona 5 Royal. And now it's happening again with Persona 3 Reload and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It's too much, man. It's too goddamn much.
I like this shot that you have, where there's just like the small window of view between me and Tim. I don't know when you came up with that, but that's fire.
It was like the last time we did work from home, which was like 4 months ago, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
All right, there's a lot to talk about, obviously, so we're gonna keep on cruising here. Story number 2: Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's creative directors revealed where the game ends. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's creative director has talked about the second part of Square Enix's Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, which means it won't conclude the story. We knew that already, but because of this, fans have been wondering how much of the overall story Rebirth will cover. This has been confirmed by Nomura in an interview on the official PlayStation blog. He explained that Rebirth tells the story in a different order than the original Final Fantasy VII, meaning although the second game will end at a certain location, others may have been held back for the third game. Quote, we've mentioned this a few times before, but the order in which you can explore the locations is not the same as the original 7, and there's some shifts in the order. For example, Wutai, one of the major locations, is not part of the route in Rebirth and will be visited in the next one. Although there are some changes in the order of the locations depicted in this title extend up to the Forgotten Capital, where the greatest fate of Final Fantasy VII awaits you.
Whoa. That's a wild way to end that statement. Oh my god!
I guess get fucking hyped. I mean, that's the big question, right? I do like that we know. Cool, we know what to expect there on like the breadth of this game story wise. But I love that it kind of leaves a lot of room for like, what are they gonna do? Like, what's gonna happen with all this? So I am very, very, very excited about all of it. But
yeah, another one I'll add into like just me being impressed by Rebirth being around the corner, right? Is that, you know, this one is meant to be more open because of where it takes place in the story, right? It can be being you coming out of I always mix up Midgar and Midgard because one of them is like actual Norse mythology, but like you coming out of Midgar and like, you know, having an open world to explore. Essentially, the fact that we watched that trailer and that trailer has so much shit going on in it, and then like they're also talking about being able to you know, visit these different major locations, and it being like, you know, seeing parts of the trailer where it's, oh yeah, no, you guys are doing the open thing, right? Like you guys are actually treating this the way that we'd expect it to be treated as a Final Fantasy VII game coming or taking place in this part of the game. Again, them putting this out almost 4 years after the original is wild to me. The fact that they're able to make it at such a pace.
It is, man.
Like, what are the other games from 2020 that have sequels already? I feel like this is like coming in early out of that bunch. When you're talking about the major, Doom Eternal came out that year. I don't see it's not even announced their next game.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're talking about 20. We're talking about the year of the pandemic as well.
I mean, you're right. Yes.
So, man,
but that's, I mean, that works more into their favor.
No, exactly. Yeah. In both ways, it's just setting the table there. But yeah, and then keeping the stories going here. Story number 3: Final Fantasy VII Remake has passed 7 million copies sold. The Final Fantasy VII Twitter account tweets, "7's the magic number. Thank you all for taking the journey with us." Man, between Final Fantasy VII Remake and Remake Intergrade, over 7 million copies sold. That is utterly fantastic, huge numbers. And then you need to remember, it is exclusive. It is PlayStation only. So
see, I would have thought these numbers would have been higher. Like 7 million. I like, even with the exclusivity thing, right? Like it being Final Fantasy VII, I would have assumed that it hit maybe like 13 to 15 million.
I don't know, man. Like that's the thing, is like there's always the context of it all, of like, no matter how big these franchises and storied these franchises are, like there's so many different things out there where it's not Call of Duty. It's not the most mainstream thing ever, you know. And like Call of Duty obviously is a stupid example to give, but I think a more apt one would be Resident Evil, where I pulled up some of the Resident Evil sale numbers for the remakes, and I mean for all of them, but like going down to like Village sold 8.3 million. Resident Evil 2 remake is at 12.6.
Okay.
Resident Evil 3 is at 7.6. So Resident Evil 3 Remake is more, which came out at the same time as 7 Remake, is sold more, but it's multi-platform.
Really, and to give like a self-correction too, like it is digitally, right?
Yeah.
Like catching that digital term right there, I think that gives more context of like, I want to see what these physical sales are as well too, because yeah, like I mean, you make those comparisons, and like I know it's probably an unfair comparison to make, but I'll make it anyway. Like I look at Nintendo, and even like the B tier Nintendo first party games are still in like the tens of like the 10 million range, right? And like I view Final Fantasy as one of those. Like Final Fantasy is like one of the most popular, I guess, IP names in gaming, even if it doesn't sell as much as like the biggest of the best of the best or the biggest of the big games. But yeah, digital combined with physical, I'll think that you're cruising past that 10 million number.
Also, I believe it's Intergrade that is also on PC, just to give more context there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking
Intergrade
about
was the
PlayStation and
Yuffie
PC numbers.
Yuffie DLC. But yeah, so that's all the Final Fantasy stuff. Can't wait for Rebirth. Looks utterly incredible. I love the fact that my boy Zach is in like the pictures they're showing, where I'm just like, I never thought I'd see more of him again in my life after Crisis Core, and the fact that he's here makes me very warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. But speaking of my tum-tum, it has to be fed. There needs to be food put in here, and food costs money. So the money needs to come from you over on patreon.com/kindoffunny, where you can get the show ad-free. But for everyone else, here's a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps lower your bills all in one place. And it has surprised multiple people at Kind of Funny, multiple of my friends, at how many subscriptions they have that they forgot about and are still paying for. It's so easy to cancel the ones you don't want with just the press of a button. Rocket Money, it does all the work for you. Rocket Money can even negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money will take care of the rest. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and helps lower your bills all in one place. Stop wasting money on things that you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and manage your money the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/kindoffunny. That's rocketmoney.com/kindoffunny. This episode's brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Football is back in full swing with another week of epic games, and who's got you covered on the action for every single one of them? DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Nobody's missing out on the action this season. All DraftKings customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every game day this September. You can get in on the NFL Week 2 action with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the app now and use code KINDOFFUNNY to sign up. New customers can bet just $5 and take home $200 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code KINDOFFUNNY. The crown is yours. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 1-877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. You can call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort KS. 21 plus age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Yes, chat, that was a Simon Miller reference. Anyway, story number 4. Immortals of Aveum Studio lays off nearly half of its staff. This comes from Rebecca Valentine at IGN. Ascendant Studios, the developer behind the recently released Immortals of Aveum, has laid off nearly half its staff. The news was first reported by Polygon and confirmed by CEO Brett Robbins shortly after. In a post on Twitter, Robbins stated that 45% of the team had been laid off in a difficult but necessary decision following the release of Immortals of Aveum. He added that the studio is supporting those impacted in every way we can, including severance packages, job placement assistance, and support services for those who are still at the studio. He also indicates that those impacted were largely Unreal Engine 5 artists and engineers. Polygon's report indicates that this layoff impacted around 40 people total and was due to poor sales of Immortals of Aveum and were necessary to keep the studio open. The game has seen fairly weak player counts on Steam since its launch just last month and received mixed reviews from critics. Immortals of Aveum was touted in the lead up to launch as a single-player magic shooter from developers with experience on games like Dead Space, Halo, and BioShock. Though developed by Ascendant, Immortals of Aveum was published through EA's EA Originals program, which has historically been a program for supporting indie games, but has more recently been partnering with better-known names like Koei Tecmo. One source told Polygon that Immortals of Aveum may have been one of the worst-selling EA originals thus far.
This is heartbreaking. Like, this
it really
sucks.
is.
This is one of those like just really unfortunate things, like all the way around, where like the game comes out at a really unfortunate spot, right? It comes out toward the mid to like late August last month and is surrounded by other heavy hitters, right? It's getting overtaken in conversation by games like Baldur's Gate 3, Armored Core 6, Starfield, etc. Like, and even like on the smaller game scale, right? We're still talking about Sea of Stars, Bomb Rush, and other games, right? That are even fighting for that level of conversation. Yeah, for this game to come out around that time sucks, especially because that game was originally slated for July, which would have worked way better for it, just in the conversation sense and the games coverage sense, and for people's mind share being able to actually give it a little bit of attention. Really unfortunate that they had to delay into August, which just didn't help it whatsoever, right? I think that plus, yeah, having mixed reviews coming out and getting 7s and 8s, which isn't bad, right? Like, it seems like Immortals of Aveum isn't a bad game by any means. It's just like it's not phenomenal. It's not sticking out when you put it in the midst of all these other things. That sucks for it. And yeah, like the fact that I guess game development is so difficult when you get into the business of it, when you get into where we're at currently with how many games are coming out, how much games cost to make, like all these business things that we talk about all the time. When you come out and you are not a hit, then your staff essentially gets hit, right, with layoffs. And yeah, it's fucking wild. Like it's pretty upsetting. Like, of course, our hearts go out to the people that are losing their jobs here at Ascendant Studios. This is another one where we talk about studios coming up and like being excuse me, brought up by like people that left other bigger studios, right? Like I go to the Wikipedia, and the Wikipedia talk about how like, you know, this studio has a group that moved over after Telltale Games got bankrupt, right? To like help create the studio. And Immortals is their first game, right? As an independent studio. And it is this AAA game being developed. And we've been seeing these studios come up more and more. And like this is another story of, oh man, all right, like it's not a hit, which means which means this flows back and hits the studio. Like we've seen it with Callisto Protocol as well, where that game comes out from another studio that is independent, AAA, trying to do something unique, trying to do something different. Game comes out, doesn't hit the way they want it to, and then yeah, that turns into layoffs, that turns into all these things. And so yeah, like it fucking sucks.
Yeah, took the words out of my mouth, especially when it comes to the Callisto Protocol of it all. Of we have seen now in the last 12 months kind of releases of these titles that we've been talking about for a long time from people that have left other studios, like grouped together, whatever it is. And in the last couple of years, we've seen such a big shift of how games are funded, how games are how the revenue streams even come in. And EA Originals kind of has proven that like they can do a bunch of different types of originals and help support in different ways. And them taking the swing here to try to help out with a bigger AAA game, a new IP, like what this game is. And we all looked at it, we knew, and it had the potential to be something special, but there's so much bureaucracy around it of the scheduling of it actually coming out, the requirements and necessities of it hitting certain whatever it is, whether it's review scores or financial benchmarks at the time that it needs to get the quarterly financials right for the company. All of this stuff is at play and is not going to go away. And it's unfortunate because this game could have performed better released at a different time. We all know that. We all know that. We've talked about that. We've been talking about it.
We talked about it before it even got delayed, right?
Exactly.
Like, when that 100%. News story first came up, we're like, oh, August is not going to be good for this game. Like this is going to be rough. And like that, I mean, that's the thing, is that video game development is tough, right? Like, and when they first revealed this game, so many of us looked at it and went, oh man, all right, like it's a first person magic shooter where you're shooting things out of your hands, and the tone of it seems like it's trying to go for almost like an MCU thing, but it feels like I think the easy comparisons would be to go, oh man, this reminds me of Forspoken meets Ghostwire Tokyo. And that's not where you want to be. Like that is not like, these are ideas that maybe could have worked in 2010. These are ideas that maybe could have hit better years and years and years ago, but things shift, things change, right? And like right now, you got to be innovative, right now there are ideas like that don't necessarily hit the same way as they would have, right? And like, you know, I think so many of us looked at Immortals and went, ooh, okay, I don't know, like I don't know if this is gonna hit, I don't know what this is. And like it's seemingly, from people who got their hands on it, game's not bad, like game's pretty decent, right? Even if it does have a concept that's that I think melts into so many other things that we've seen that don't feel as novel, that don't feel as fresh. Once you get your hands on that game is pretty good, like based on just what I've seen from people like Greg Miller, right? But then also like Jake Baldino, I saw made a video about it of like, hey, yeah, game's pretty good, right? Like I've seen that sentiment around this game a lot. But yeah, like again, game development is hard. Sometimes ideas don't work out. Sometimes like you make a swing and it doesn't hit. I think it sucks that when your swings don't hit, that immediately means, oh, we're laying off 45%. That's
And
just
that's where we're at. That's where we're at now. We weren't always there, but like I feel like that's because of how the industry has spread from the indie to AAA side, with the middle kind of getting cut out, and we've seen a return of that middle a little bit. And I think that that is due to things like different financial spectrums and being able to pull money from different places or have different levels of expectation because of services like Game Pass that kind of upfront can fund these things, or even Epic Game Store and all that, where it's like there are different ways to be able to have that cushion to be able to keep going. But when you don't have that cushion and your game's not performing well enough at launch, it's like, all right, cool, well, that was our one shot here, because there aren't microtransactions up the ass for this, and there aren't going to be sources of revenue coming in that justify it continuing, right? And that's I think where everyone gets stuck in this. And it's unfortunate because these projects need to be managed correctly and like individually from the top down on a case-by-case basis. And I think that we've seen many times now that that is not happening. And there's a lot of fingers to be pointed, a lot of people to be blamed, but there is just a reality we're in that we all saw this coming. And that sucks, because does it seem like we're all here looking at this, and I'm sure if we saw it coming, it's not like they didn't see it coming too. But what do you do? How do you change it? I don't know. But I mean,
it almost gets back to the Redfall thing of like, hey, why don't you delay Redfall? And it's like, well, is a delay gonna fix the problems of this game that are just inherent to like what it is at its core, right? Like we started off with an idea, we saw that idea far enough through, and now we can't change course, right? Because hey, the game is made. Like we gotta see it through.
I think it's just really, really sad that for a multitude of reasons, but one of them is that we see a lot of these free-to-play games. We see a lot of the games as a service, the games that we look at, and within 3 seconds, we're like, okay, I know exactly why this is being made, and you're trying your best to get your hand into that cookie jar. And then we all make the call of like, all right, let's see if this lasts more than 3 months, and then it doesn't, right? Or it lasts 4, and it's like, I guess that's a win, whatever it is. This is a single-player game. This is the thing. This is a new IP. This is what we want, is a big budget AAA single player game that's new, and it's not just from the same people we always get from. And then this comes out and it doesn't work that way. And it's like, oh shit. What lessons are going to be learned from this? They're not going to be good, But at the same time, this has to be done correctly so that if it is a failure, there's a backup plan so that half the team doesn't get let go.
When that's the thing, like that's why you see people make deals with Game Pass. That's why you see people, like especially indie developers, make deals with Epic, or make the deals with that where they can, where it's, hey, let's put our thing on here exclusive, let's put our thing on here day and date on a subscription service, so that we're able to make up a lot of this money. And even if it is a failure, well, at least like we're not laying off most of the people here, right? Like I don't know what the specifics of EA Originals is. I don't know if I assume that it's just publishing agreement. As EA will promote and as EA will publish your game, but I don't think EA is giving Ascendant Studios a bunch of money to be able to make their thing, right? And so like it's that tough thing where like EA, I think for them might have been there, oh shit, this is perfect, like EA is gonna push this for us, we're gonna go. But like when the game doesn't hit regardless, oh man, that fucking sucks. My other thing too is that I wonder on the EA side, what is their conversation in terms of how they're approaching EA Originals now, right? Like we've seen very big wins with EA Originals when you look at It Takes Two and others, and then we've seen misses, or like not even misses, because like I look at Wild Hearts, and EA might, in Koei Tecmo might consider Wild Hearts a miss, but like that game was good when it came out, just didn't retain a player base. And now we have Immortals, which probably they would consider a miss. Does EA look at this and go, ooh, let's slow down on here a bit? Or do they look at this and go, hey, this program is working as intended, not everything's going to be a hit? I would hope that it's the latter thing.
I definitely think it is. I think that this is like EA when it comes to the originals. Like we talked about this yesterday with Respawn. Like EA is making their money. Like EA at this point has kind of refined itself that for the most part, they aren't putting out that many games. Like there's just like a couple of verticals they have that they are sticking to. Whereas like even I would say like 6 or 7 years ago, there were like a ton of EA games coming out. Now it's essentially just the sports titles and the Respawn titles. And then these originals are the kind of like things that are peppered in along the way. And I'd say for the most part, these have worked. This being a different type of swing, and it didn't work. I still think that they'd be willing to make this investment because it doesn't seem like it's much for them, You know, I
Yeah.
think this is more than you look at the studio side of it all, and it's like, what did they do? How did they do? Like, was this plan viable from the beginning?
Like, what is like? I would be so fascinated to be in the meetings, like for the team, whoever heads up the EA Originals program, right? To like see their sit down and go, what do we learn from this, right? Like, do we need to be more hands on with the developers? Do we need to be more rigorous with how we choose games, or like again, like is our thing? We want to be experimental and give these people, give folks like Ascendant Studios a chance, because I do think that studios like Ascendant Studios deserve a chance, right? Like again, like I could see why this idea might be novel or work for somebody, and I can see, especially when you get into the execution of, hey, no, we know how to make a game, like we know how to make a good video game, right? And like even good video games don't always end up successful. Like I wonder if EA on their side is like, yo, we want to even give those games that might not, see the return, we want to give them a chance if we think the idea is creative enough, or if we think the execution is going to be good enough. We want to at least give them that stage to try.
And that
because,
gets them
I think it's
Game of the Year winners.
Yeah, and exactly. It Takes Two. You look at It Takes Two, or even A Way Out, because I know with them it's probably the thing of we have this relationship with EA, right? You look at A Way Out, their game, Hazelight Studios game before It Takes Two. I don't think you look at that and go, this is going to end up with a Game of the Year winner a couple years from now, right?
Yeah.
I don't think you look at that and go, this is going to end up in one of the biggest games of the year. But you work with that studio, you put out A Way Out, and you have like a good enough hit there where it's like, okay, no, these guys got something special. These guys like know how to make a good game, and then you partner with them again, and all of a sudden you have a Game of the Year winner at the Game Awards. That is such a beautiful story right there, and I think you could. I think that's the thing that could be replicable. I think that's the thing that happens when you give people a chance and you look at different ideas and go, hey, go for it. Like, we're going to give you the stage. We're going to give you the publishing. We're going to give you what you need to put your game out. I want to see more of that from EA. That's naturally going to end up in these scenarios, though, where Ascendant Studios has like a miss here. It just also sucks that it ends up in layoffs as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Story number 5, Capcom's getting a TGS stream set for September 21st at 7 a.m. We got some new info coming for Dragon's Dogma 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake Separate Ways DLC, Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Trilogy, Exo Primal, and Street Fighter 6. I will not be watching this, at least not at the time that it is.
The last Capcom showcase didn't do for you?
If anything, nah. It offended me. It upset me very deeply to my core.
Do we get Monster Hunter World 2 during this?
Ah, fuck.
It might be worth it to wake up and react to this at 7 a.m., Tim.
I'm just saying.
Come on, Tim.
I'll come out and I'll probably be wrong about this. I don't think we'll see Monster Hunter World 2 here. I think that game is too big to show off in a Capcom showcase in the middle of
Capcom online program.
Yeah, I don't think that's where you reveal a Monster Hunter World 2. I think maybe a Game Awards might be the right place to show that. Especially if that game is around the corner. If we're thinking 2024 for that game, I think Game Awards would be such a clutch place to show that.
Yeah, we'll see. Whatever. It's happening. We'll talk about it on Games Daily. Whatever it does or doesn't happen there. Story number 6, Ubisoft is shutting down its London studio. This comes from Chris Scullion at VGC. Ubisoft plans to close Ubisoft London. The studio, which was originally known as Future Games of London, was founded in 2009, acquired by Ubi in 2013, renamed Ubisoft London earlier this year. Ubisoft London focuses mainly on mobile games and is best known for the Hungry Shark series, which has achieved over 1 billion downloads to date. However, in recent years, the series has been partly developed by Ubisoft Barcelona Mobile, and Ubisoft's now decided to fully shift development of the series to the Catalan studio. This will result in the closure of Ubisoft London, which will affect 54 staff. Quote, as part of our ongoing efforts to enhance efficiency, streamline operations, and reduce costs, we're proposing the consolidation of the ongoing management of the Hungry Shark franchise at our Ubisoft Barcelona mobile studio, which already oversees a portion of it. In this context and following UK regulations, we're engaging in consultations with our Ubisoft London team regarding the proposed closure of the studio, which would impact 54 positions. We're sincerely grateful to our colleagues in London for all of their passionate contributions to making the franchise what it is today, and we're committed to supporting them throughout the process with the utmost consideration.
And another one where it's like, man, layoffs and this stuff sucks, right? Like this story doesn't necessarily say layoffs, right? Like it seems like there's going to be an attempt to see if we can help out the 54 impacted positions, but I think naturally these things are going to end up and layoffs, and like a studio closure in general. It's like, oh man, all right, that sucks. Granted, like I don't know if me or you were playing Hungry Shark like that.
No, but people were, a billion people were. And
Yeah.
look, this is the thing, man. Like, you can only support so much. And Ubisoft, we've been talking about them for years now, which is how much they have going on. They're one of the truly worldwide publisher developers, right? Like, you look at them, like how many studios did I name even there that are all over the place in the world? Like, it is impressive.
If you say Ubisoft and then a major city, chances are that place exists.
Exactly. That's a very good call.
Yeah, I got a friend that works at Ubisoft Miami right now.
Great power, great responsibility. And I think this is kind of like we see it over and over here, where it's like, it's exciting to invest in new ideas and make a lot of money there, but you need to keep that going or else it's going to stop. And then there's going to be bad ramifications in time. And especially with how video games have ballooned in the last couple of years of being even a bigger slice of the entertainment pie in terms of money being moved around everywhere. It's like, yeah, the stuff's going to happen. And like, it sucks that this is impossible, but the world just needs like a reset point of us just being like, hey, let's just start over. Let's start from the beginning one time and like, let's just get everything right. Let's like put the right people in the right places,
the world,
the right teams, the whole fucking world. Let's just start over.
You sound like fucking Thanos.
Yeah, dude.
We need to what kind of Marvel villain are you? We need to start the world over.
Start it over, man. We fucked it up. We don't deserve this shit. Nobody does.
Oh my god. Yo, I'm with you though. We got to get you superpowers.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Man,
Story number 7.
Terraform the earth.
Story number 7 here. This one is going to be a required reading that you can check out from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. I highly recommend you check out the entire article. A lot of stuff going on in this one, but I am going to read a bit of it so you guys can get the gist of what's going on. Ubisoft Montreal is in turmoil amid what developers are calling broken promises. On September 11th, most of the over 4,000 employees at Ubisoft Montreal returned to office in Montreal's Mile End for the first time in 3 years, but hardly anyone seems happy about it, and many are furious as to what they're calling broken promises from Ubisoft leadership. Since Ubisoft Montreal announced that employees would be returning to the office beginning September 11th, the studio's intranet has been lighting up with posts ranging from mild concern to outright anger. IGN's viewed a number of comments on the situation across multiple Ubisoft internal postings, including over 270 comments on the announcement post alone, almost all of which were negative. Many of the comments list numerous issues employees have historically had working from the office before as reasons not to return, like noisy calls in an open office, increased expenses, and a lack of sufficient equipment or accommodations. But the anger also runs deeper than the inherent problems with returning to the office. Amid a wider company culture of layoffs, game cancellations, and abuse allegations, this mandated office return seems to be a final straw for a number of employees who feel that Ubisoft management's indifference to its workers has gone on long enough. And then it continues and keeps going on, but you get the idea. But definitely check it out for all the reporting that Rebecca did.
Yeah, it's a very fascinating read because there's so much that goes into it and so much to read into, right? Like the short of it being that Ubisoft at one point promised these folks that like, hey, yeah, like, you can stay home and work. People were offered jobs based on that, right? People bought houses, people sold their cars, people were looking forward to not coming back into the office. And all of a sudden it is mandated, hey, no, you're coming back into the office 2 days per week, right? And when you've done these things, when you've bought houses in other places, it's like, wait, no, I can't because I've already set up my life based on this. People are citing the broader lack of trust in the company now because they've gone back on their word. People are talking about how also, we've had the stories about Ubisoft having offices that have these toxic workplaces, right? And people are like, yo, I don't want to go back to that either. So there's that on top of that. And then like toward the middle of the article, right, there's a section here that reads, several employees have gone as far as to speculate that the change was effectively a sort of layoff on the part of Ubisoft in an effort to, I never know how to say this word, assuage said recent financial woes. By introducing an unpopular policy, they suggested Ubisoft could push employees to quit and reduce headcount without having to pay severance or deal with other potential financial drawbacks of a mass layoff, right? So it's like their way of low-key getting rid of people without having to pay them severance, which is really fucked up. And then even here it says multiple commenters pointed out that Ubisoft Montreal has long had agreements with the Quebec and Montreal governments to bring jobs and foot traffic to Montreal in return for significant tax credits that have driven wider industry growth in the province. A lot going on here, worth the read, but yeah, it kind of all comes back to the conversation we're just having that we've been having about Ubisoft, and like the industry in general when we talk about these layoffs, right? Of like, man, we got to treat people better. We got to treat employees with more respect. We can't just treat people like chess pieces.
Dude, and that's the thing, man. It's like, look, the world changed in 2020 and it will never be the same. That change affected everybody and it affected everybody differently. And I think that there's a lot of nuanced conversations that need to be had where there is not a good and evil side of every conversation. But then there is a side of these conversations that is, all right, cool, but who are you looking out for here? Is it just you, or is it for the safety of a team or teams or all the teams? And when you are responsible for all of those teams, where are these decisions coming from? And I feel like that is the way you can look at it, and where there is a good and evil side of it. And I feel like more often than not, when we're seeing a lot of these stories, they add on top of each other. It's not just this. It is this with all of the abuse stories that we cover and all of the different team layoffs that we cover. And all of it comes together to a place where, man, let's start it all over, Bless, me and you.
Let's go back to the beginning. Let's wash away the earth. You know what I think would work, Tim? What if we got a flood? What if we just got a lot of rain and like we can save humanity, right? Get 2 of each animal. Okay. Just enough so we can reproduce. Bears showed up here, right? What if we like got a big boat, a big old boat, like a big yacht?
Okay. Yeah.
Like an ark,
a yacht.
Like an ark. An ark.
Blessings
like a big
yacht.
Ark. Blessings yacht. That. And I got like a couple of each animal, brought it on, and like it rained, and then we could sail for some days, and then the rain goes down, and then all of a sudden we start from the beginning.
Fall down. Can we save Hillary Duff?
Oh, of course, yes, we are 1000% saving Hillary Duff.
Good.
Really quick, I know it's probably unrealistic, but if the speculation is correct in trying to force people's hands in quitting and stuff, I know it'd be an unrealistic thing, but I would love to see the employees kind of hold out and then force UB's hand into actually having to let people go, so then they can get severance and like fuck them over a little bit on that stuff that they're trying to hold back on, which is such a shitty practice. That's just my 2 cents. And then also, Bless, don't do it. Don't flood the earth.
You don't want me to make it rain?
I don't want you to make it rain. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I got a Lil Wayne song for you. I'm gonna make it rain.
It's good. We want a better future.
We want a better future. We got to start over.
Yeah. Story number 8, Fables, aka Wolf Among Us, is being released into public domain. This is a weird one coming from Robert Wood at Screen Rant. In a shock statement, Bill Willingham, comic series Fables, has released the franchise into public domain, citing a breakdown in his relationship with DC Comics, who we recently revealed he'd fired during the ongoing publication of Fable's new continuation, The Black Forest. He shared a press release that reveals his reasons and the details of his acrimonious split from DC. Ooh, acrimonious. What a word. Willingham made the announcement via his blog, These Foolish Games, included in the below. You can see in the statement, Willingham releases Fables into the public domain alongside properties as Sherlock Holmes, Dracula, and a recent edition, Winnie the Pooh. While existing comics and games still belong to their respective publishers, fans are theoretically free to create new works using the characters, settings, and events from all Fable stories and tie-ins, including hit Telltale game The Wolf Among Us, soon to receive a sequel in The Wolf Among Us 2. He specifies his contract with DC makes the ironclad guarantee that he's the sole owner of the IP behind Fables and that it's his to give away to the world. However, he does caution that copyright law is a mess, purposefully vague and murky, and no 2 lawyers, not even those specializing in copyright and trademark law, agree on anything. So yeah, that's interesting.
It's wild. Bear, can people hear us, by the way? Is the record good?
I'm not entirely. The record is fine. I'm not entirely sure because I'm streaming this from my house to the studio and then the studio streaming. So, people are saying it audio fine. Okay. I'm not entirely sure. Okay. All right.
Yeah, chat's good.
Cool.
So we can make a Wolf Among Us, Tim.
We can.
Do you want to? Like, it's out. It's there.
I'm personally okay. But if you're interested in it,
I might go for it. Like I don't know shit about Wolf Among Us. It's like fairy tale characters and shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is this before or after you flood the earth?
After.
I mean, that's the thing. That could be the story. We can turn that into the whole thing.
I'm gonna make that the Bible.
What was the Winnie the Pooh movie? The horror one? Honey,
I Shrunk the Kid. No,
Honey, I'm Home.
I know what you're talking about. Is it not just called Winnie?
It might be, but there's a sequel coming out. They revealed
That's
Tigger yesterday.
Blood and Honey.
Blood and Honey. Yeah.
It's pretty sick.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
Anyway, yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, like I mean, Telltale's working on a Wolf Among Us 2 currently, and so like I'm curious to see like, do people do stuff with this, and also does DC go actually no, like you guys nobody's doing shit with this because we're gonna step in here. I'm very curious to see what happens with this. But yeah, very fascinating that right now we can just make a Wolf Among Us if we wanted to.
It's a good thing, Bless.
I might do it. Fuck, I might do it.
Yeah, but your Wolf Among Us game is so far away. If I want to know what's coming to mom and grab shops today, where would I look?
Who says give me a game? Give me a Bible. You can look toward the official list of upcoming software across each and every platform as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show host each and every weekday.
Blessings on one today.
When
It's
we
gonna
bring
be
back
a
the world,
Bible.
when we reset the world, we need a word.
We need rules.
We need a new
rules.
Genesis. And that Genesis starts with Alexander Wolf. That's not his name.
Well, now it is. We get to make the fucking rules. Bless.
That's true. It's public domain. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it.
Yeah, me and you are the new world leaders. Don't let anyone else know that.
It's gonna be fucking. The books of the Bible are gonna be book 1, Wolf. Book 2, Winnie. Book 3, Pinocchio. It's gonna be off the chain. Big B. Thank you, chat.
It's really gonna be wild, dude.
Thank you, chat.
God.
Big B.
Big B, everybody. So let's go from here. Out today, we got Bait and Kados 1 and 2 HD remaster on Switch. We have Wandering Sword on PC. We have Corbin, A Colorful Adventure on PC, PS4, 5, and Switch. NASCAR Arcade Rush. That sounds kind of fun on everything. And Baby Shark Sing and Swim Party on everything.
Hell yeah.
There we go. No new dates for you. No new dates, everybody. No
None.
new dates. Let's go to You're Wrong.
Let's do it.
We can go and correct us when we get stuff wrong. Let's see.
Spice here says Resident Evil 4 was released on Oculus VR January 22. And it's I gotta maximize this. And it's great. So RE4 on PSVR isn't that crazy or new. Well, it is RE4 remake VR. So it's gonna be like all remake-ified.
Yeah.
So
And then
I'll give it to
Jay
them.
C. George says Final Fantasy 7 Remake Integrate's also available on PC, not a PS5 exclusive. We said that earlier, but also like y'all know when we say exclusive, we're talking about consoles. We're not talking about PC. If we're talking about PC, it'd be a completely different conversation anytime we're talking about anything. Then Xbox has no exclusives, but who cares?
I mean, that's a good point. Yeah.
You know, and that's not even a joke. That's like,
Yeah,
like,
that's yeah.
you know what we mean. But
there are a lot of
then-
PC players though, you know.
Yeah, but there's not. I mean, I'm not getting into this conversation. I'm not doing it, Bless. Not in our new world.
I'm just saying, you don't think that bumps those numbers up?
I
PC
honestly
players?
don't. I really, truly don't.
You don't think
But
millions and millions and millions of people are playing on their 3080 RTX,
I don't know.
seeing what cloud's all about?
I'd be real interested to see what the PC sales numbers were for Final Fantasy 7 Remake Intergrade.
I'm gonna say at least 10.
Yeah, I think definitely
Yeah.
at least 10. I mean, I'm sure it was like 1 million, which is, hey, that's a lot. That's a percentage. It's a percentage, Bless.
It's more than 10.
Next week's hosts, we have Bless and me on Monday. We have me and Bless on Tuesday. We have Bless and Andy on Wednesday. We have Bless and a mystery guest on Thursday. It's not a mystery as in somebody fun that we can't talk about. We just don't know who's going to be there yet, but it's going to be cool. And then Friday, we have me and Lucy James. That'll
Finally
be
a
freaking
break.
awesome. So that should be awesome. But yeah, if you're watching live, we're going to do a little fun post show. I think Andy's joining us today, so that'll be fun. Haven't talked to him in a while. Then after that, they're streaming. What are they streaming? Party Animals.
And I'm getting this right now at
Breaking
11:05, 20 minutes before we're
We gotta put
supposed
a
to
stop to
stream.
this.
Yep. Andy wants to do a Twitch bounty to start the stream today, so we will not do a YouTube stream until 12:30 because it's going to be a Twitch bounty, so it'll be exclusive to twitch.tv/kindoffunnygames, playing Lies of P for the first hour, and then we will be back at 12:30 p.m. on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, and I need to look at the back end, make sure all of that is updated now. So there you go.
This is what I'm gonna do. I'm deleting the if you're watching this live. If you're watching this live after this is the post show.
And that's it, everyone. We're having fun days with everybody. I'm on one. I'm feeling a vibe right now. My synapses aren't connecting. They're not shooting right.
No, mine are shooting all over the place, Tim. I'm thinking. I have so many thoughts.
Don't
about
say it like that. Don't say it like that,
I have
Bless.
so many thoughts about how I'm gonna restart the Earth.
Yeah.
Like,
Let's connect on it. Let's figure
have you
this
played
out.
Mortal Kombat 1 yet?
No.
Oh, let me tell you.
Well, good thing I have Bless, and we're going to talk all about it on
Whoa.
today's post show with Snowbike Mike.
Which starts in just a couple seconds until
Next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
So Mortal Kombat 1, right?
Mhm.
Liu Kang restarts the Earth. It's not a spoiler. Oh, it's a spoiler for the last game.
There you go.
But it's kind of how this game begins. And let me tell you, he had some ideas. I'm gonna take some of those ideas and I'm gonna take them all the way.
Are you
my
the
beef
new
with Liu
Sun
Kang-
God?
I think it's Fire God. I think Sun God might be a different thing.
He's
But
the
yeah,
I
I'll
fire
want to be the
god.
Sun God.
I'll be the Fire God.
Okay.
Oh, the Fire
that's cool.
Fire God bless.
Mm.
FGB. Yeah,
like that.
I'll be the new Fire God. And yeah, Liu Kang wasn't taking them ideas far enough. I'm gonna take them all the way. All right.
Good.
Oh,
I'm
Finally.
gonna take them all the way.
Wow. Take him there, big dog. Let's jump in
Wait,
and
wait,
have
wait,
some
wait.
fun.
Mike, how did you play Mortal Kombat 1?
Well, of course, I bought it because I'm a bad motherfucking shut your mouth. You know what I mean, Tim?
I'm a
I
bad
did it, baby.
motherfucker.
Wait, did you buy the special edition?
Of course.
He's got to swipe that card, you know.
Blessing, let's just say this. It looks so good. I had to jump on it. And then when I played it, I was like, oh, snap. This is the real deal, Holyfield, ladies and gentlemen. Worth the price of admission for show, y'all. Am I smashing buttons and do I suck? Of course, Tim Geddes. But does
Yeah, dude.
Reptile look cool? Yeah, but get this, Bless. I might be a Baraka boy now. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to say I might be a Baraka boy now.
Mike, do
Mike,
you want
I'm
to turn
also
on
Baraka
your
boy.
do you
I
want to
love
turn on your
Baraka in that
camera?
game.
I'm ready. Here you
Cool.
go.
Hey,
I'm
can I
saying
ask
you
y'all a
could've-
question? How can I play Mortal Kombat 1 right now? They didn't send me a code. I'm down to buy it. Can I just buy it? And if so, if I had to buy it right now,
If
$109.
you wait,
fuck that. I'm not.
I was
doing
gonna say
that.
if you wait 4 days, you save like $60.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
you save a
Man,
lot of money.
duh. But I want to play
$109.
this weekend. They got me by the balls, man.
It's
This
so
is-
good, Tim. Oh my God, man, it's so good.
You paid
Bless,
$109 to play this game 4 days early, Mike.
Bless, look at me when I tell you it was worth every penny, dude. This shit is so good, Bless. Holy cow, man. I'm all about it. And we're going to talk about it right now on today's Super Prime Post Show. It's Snowbike Mike. It's your two incredible games daily show host. Diving in a little bit deeper, talking with all of you about today's news stories on $100 for Mortal Kombat 1. We'll talk about all that and so much more. But of course, I have to let the YouTube audience know. Here's
Let
a
'em know.
curveball for you that we're throwing at you. This afternoon stream coming up at 11:30 a.m. is going to be changed. Andy is doing a Twitch bounty, which means we need your support over on Twitch to get the most out of this sponsored stream. So we would love your view. If you're hanging out for KFGD, if you can go on over to Twitch, click on our video there. That would mean the world to us. And I have a Lies of P giveaway over there as well. We got a code with this Twitch bounty, so we'll give away an awesome PC code for one of you best friends watching over on Twitch during that. And then at 12:30 p.m., we will play Party Animals on all of your favorite streaming services. But of course, this is the Super Chat Post Show. If you want to get involved over on YouTube, you can Super Chat. If you're over on Twitch, you can resubscribe at the tier 1 through 3 level. Don't forget, it's September, and we're reading all of your sub messages, just like my good friend Drago3869 with the tier 1 sub for 28 months, just like Andy Cortez with the tier 1 sub for 78 months that says, I'm playing Lies of P for an hour, and we're giving away a Lies of P PC code. Then Mike, Nick, Roger, and myself are playing Party Animals. Please be there and be aware. But Tim and Bless, we have some questions coming in from the YouTube chat, but I want to kick it off with this. Bless, is $100 too much to pay
Yes.
for early access for
Yes.
Mortal Kombat 1?
1000%. Why are you? What? It's 5 days of early
5 days.
access,
Blessing,
and you're paying
this,
what, like $40 more?
I mean, are we going to talk
50
about
more
that?
dollars?
We're going to talk about them charging me to buy Johnny Cage sunglasses. You know what I mean? Do we want to talk about the storefront on Mortal Kombat as well?
I mean, I've not looked at the storefront.
Okay,
'cause,
you
like,
should
I'm
look
not,
at the storefront,
I'm not
'cause there's a lot
buying
going on
anything
over
that's
there.
not an actual character.
You don't. They're not
Hold on.
forcing you to buy anything,
don't need to
Mike.
buy
And
the
here's the thing:
sunglasses.
if you want to play stuff this weekend, there's a game called Lies of P that we have that you could play this weekend, and then wait to play Mortal Kombat 1 next week,
Here-
Mike.
Here's
I'm,
the deal,
I'm
here's the
excited
deal.
for Mortal Kombat as much as anybody else. I don't need to pay extra money to play it 4 days early.
Snowbike Mike, man of the people. The people can't play Lies of P early. They don't get to be an influencer like Andy
But
Cortez
you-
and play it
you
early.
are-
You got to wait till Tuesday.
You're
You know
not-
what I mean? I'm people. I'm one of the people.
You
I'm one
have
of the people.
a fucking code. You have that game already.
Here's my question though, Mike.
Uh-huh.
You just said, oh, there's Johnny Cage sunglasses on the store. Have you seen the store? There's a lot to talk about. Now, me and Bless heard that, and both of us react like normal people, where we're like, uh-oh, that sounds like there's probably a problem. But there's something about you. I just want to clarify. Are you excited about the storefront of Mortal Kombat? Are you like, yo, you can buy the glasses?
There's a piece of me that is excited because there are some very cool costumes, Tim. It is the season of fire. So everyone has this kind of red, yellow, and orange-based theme to all of their outfits for this season. And each character comes with 3 different outfits, Tim. So that's kind of lit, but you have to buy them all individually or as one giant bundle. And then, of course, as well, they sell the mini accessories. So for one lady, you could get like special daggers, or for Johnny Cage, you could get sunglasses for a nice little price. You know what I mean? So I'm not pleased with the storefront, but I am pleased with it when it comes to character customization and outfits, right? But like none of this red, orange, and yellow are speaking to me. That's not my colorway. You know what I mean, Tim? So
yeah,
I'm not enthused by it, but like I'm interested.
Where are you even finding the storefront? Is it the
you
shrine?
press start. You press start on it. It's in the bottom right corner of your screen. You'll see it. It says store.
I love that Mike finds the store.
Yeah.
It's like,
and also the fact that like you knew that
like,
off the top of the dome. I have the game open. Did I even see that shit?
Yeah, your boy Mike has been there. So I paid $100 last night to be able to play. And
I do
thought
like
it was
the
worth every
customization.
penny.
The customization is pretty cool. Like going online and seeing other people's like Raidens and like what their characters look like, because it is mix and match different elements of the characters. I think that stuff is really cool. I don't know if I'm gonna go and buy these things because I see. Okay, you know what? The Johnny Cage sunglasses are kind of cool.
Okay. How much are they selling? Can we get a true price breakdown live right now?
So the Johnny Cage sunglasses cost 300 of the currency.
Okay. And how much currency? How much is
to get 500 of the currency, it's $5. So those glasses are $3.
That's a lot of money, Tim.
That's a lot of money for some sunglasses.
But $100, not that much, not that bad for 4 days early, Tim. Someone in the chat called me out because they were like, Barrett gets mad at Mike breathing. Show my guy. And my response is, that's because Mike would somehow find a way to spend money fucking breathe, okay? And it drives me because it's not just like one incident. It's like
because Mike be breathing real hard sometimes.
God damn it, dude.
Mike snores when he's awake.
I'm in bad health. I'm in bad health.
Mike's a loud breather.
But here's the deal.
Fuck, man.
Here's the deal, Tim and Bless. Let's talk about it because Barrett brought up a good one. That is where the gaming market is trending. We talk about microtransactions. We talk about getting into players' wallets, whether it be free to play and having that storefront, whether it be now selling early access for an already $70 game, right? Where do you guys fall on 4 to 5 day early access period?
I don't like it.
I know you guys get a lot of codes, right? So it's a little bit different, but like, do you think that this is a profitable monetization strategy? Do you think this is something we'll see 5 years from now, or will we drop the early access, play 5 days early for whatever dollar amount?
I think it's only going to become more commonplace, and it already has been for a very long time, where we've seen different companies try to come up with schemes to make this work. But I think that even you see on the Game Pass side of things, right, where there's the early access for like the special editions of whatever games, like even Starfield, people being able to play that early. I don't think inherently that it's bad. I think that there's a way to market to your consumers in a way that feels acceptable and valid. Even yesterday we were talking about Hades and the early access of it all when it comes to the Hades 1 and then Hades 2. They're going to have early access as well. That's very different, but there are similarities, and that, to my point that I'm making, is I feel like there are acceptable ways to do this. I also personally have some weird, not issues, but I don't like the Hades early access thing. I'd rather especially for a sequel, where it's like, I understand that makes sense for a smaller team doing something before, but now it's kind of like, so you want me to pay to be a beta tester? And I know that that's really kind of like boiling it down to something that it might not be, but it also kind of is. So I feel like there's shady ways to look at all this stuff, right? But I do think that it is pretty predatory for Mortal Kombat, with the audience it knows it has, to release in this way.
That's my thing, is like, I think as a competitive game, like I look back at Street Fighter, right? And when I got the code for Street Fighter, I had to sign a thing that said I was not going to compete in the Capcom Cup tournaments, right? Like I couldn't compete in Street Fighter and Evo, all these things, because I got the game 2 weeks early, right? And they're very rigid on that. The fact that Mortal Kombat, a competitive fighting game, is like, hey, play a week early, just give us $40 extra. I think for the kind of game it is, it's kind of weird, and I'm just not a fan of it in general. And I think one, I'm in a weird place with it, right? Because like I've worked at Kind of Funny now for 3 years, right? About 3.5 years, and so like
more than that, bless. I've been working here for 3 years.
No, I got hired at the beginning of 2020. You've been working here for 2 years, I think, 2.5 years.
No, bless your.
Have I been working here for longer than 3.5 years?
3. This is
As
you're
Barrett does
almost
the math.
you're almost 4 years.
3.5.
Gotcha.
He's right.
Okay.
You've been here for a while.
But either way, right? Like, yeah, I'm in a place where I get codes, and I'm now used to the early access of it, and so I'm gonna be looking at it through a very specific lens. And part of that lens is like the fact that when you give early access to a game, like via a special edition, the release date isn't like that last release date anymore. Like the release date for Mortal Kombat is the 14th. It's not the 19th. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's how you got to treat it.
Yep.
But at the same time, for us with codes, right? Like we got review codes, 1 or 2 days before the early access, which isn't an acceptable amount of time for like to actually give a good review, right? Like you're going to see most final Mortal Kombat reviews come through next week, like way beyond when people actually got the game. And if we're looking at review standards of, hey, when do press get a game versus when do the audience get a game, I feel like that's a really easy way to get around. Oh yeah, like we're not going to let press review this thing. We're going to let the audience play it before they even see what the final score on it is. I don't like that. I think that's a weird way to go about it, and that's kind of a nitpick of it, but that's one of the reasons I don't like it. The other reason also is just the fact that like I think dividing it up that way feels a bit like, hey, if you got the money, get in this game early. If you don't got the money, fuck you, kind of thing. Like I know that's probably an aggressive way to look at it, but I think that's how it feels to a lot of people.
The worst thing to me is I think that and this is very debatable, and all of this is, but like the value is there, quote unquote, when it comes to what this package is, right? Because it's not just getting early access, right? Like you are getting I'm speaking out of my ass here, so correct me if I'm wrong, but like this is like the physical version of this, right?
No, you're getting the season pass, which is like the first year is what people are typing in. You get a character, and then you get 5 days early access. Chat, you can add some other stuff. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's 40 extra. The DLC alone would be 30, and the other extras would be 20 to 30 is what King of Arcadia says. Where you at, chat? Somebody's got it in there. There's some other people putting in other things on that one with what you'll get. You'll get more than just 5 days early access.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think
feel
that
like
changes much.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm also coming from this. I am the opposite of Snowback Mike. I usually do not pay extra money to play games, right? Like and this is me talking before I started working at this job. I did not buy DLC typically, right? I did not buy like any of like the additional add-ons for games. Even while playing Genshin Impact in the last couple of years, I did not spend 1 penny on Genshin Impact. And that's just the way I go about like spending my money and the way I go out playing my games, right? I just want to play my game as is. I don't really care for the extra stuff. I view that stuff as extra stuff, right? Like I'm not the kind of person that will spend up money for a special edition either. And so like when I look at the idea of like the 5-day like early access thing as a special edition perk, I don't know, like something about it just feels not right to me. And that might be an old way of thinking, but I don't know, like that's kind of just the attitude I come into it with.
Yeah, you get the Jean-Claude Van Damme skin. You get the Mortal Kombat pack. You get the Shang Tsung, and
Shang Tsung.
1,200 plus bonus on the Dragon Crystals, which I haven't got my Dragon Crystals that I want to spend in the store. So like, let's remedy that, please, because I'm trying to buy stuff in the store. But there it is. I mean, it's also a fun one to talk about, especially with Game Pass, where, yes, Game Pass subscribers get the game, but if you pay an additional fee like Forza Horizon, we saw with Starfield, you'll get the game early. Some people have typed in, of course, trying to avoid more spoilers now because it comes out 5 days earlier than they would normally get it, so they have to dance around that one as well. So a lot of interesting discussion there, but $100, Tim, to play Mortal Kombat right now, if you want to.
The final takeaway.
If you want to, just throwing it out there. What you got on that one? Let's keep it going right now. We got some fun questions. Macho 3, the real estate. Bless PSVR 2. Excited for the list coming this year. RE4, Hellsweeper, Madison VR, Runes Magnus, Arizona Sunshine 2, Vertigo 2, Bad Dreams, Wanderer, Seventh Guest. LOL. So many good games coming set for 2023.
That's a great lineup, Bless.
I need a more.
That's a great lineup. That's a great lineup.
I can't take good at face value because I've not heard of half of those games. If not most of those games. Like I think these games are gonna speak to the audience likely, but like I don't know. Bear, are you able to pull up trailers for some of these? Like I want to judge for myself if these are good games or not.
Hold on, let me see. What
Arizona Sunshine is an exciting name. RE4 is an exciting name. But I feel like whenever I see trailers for most of these games, I'm kind of like, all right, cool. Like it's another shooting gallery or first person like experience.
I'll pull up.
I don't like the Lysias Red Mic doesn't get me excited.
None of that gets you excited right there to strap on the headset, get it all set up.
No, I mean,
Okay.
Mike, are you familiar with a lot of those games?
No, some of them. I'm probably familiar with about 5 out of that list. None of them make me jump. I'm still waiting for that Firewall game. Bless. I thought that was the
Firewall
big selling
Ultra?
point. Yeah, that's where I want to be.
Mike, that game is already out.
Oh man, we didn't talk about that a single time, huh? That was
That
the game.
game got bad reviews.
That's heartbreaking. No way. The Firewall
Yeah.
game got bad reviews.
Literally, though, we
what
on
a
PS Love You,
miss.
we pulled up a review that just says "What happened?" question mark.
Oh,
that was like
no.
PlayStation or Push Square. I think might have had that review. Yeah, if I type in
That's
Firewall
heartbreaking.
Ultra review right now, let's see what pops up.
Oh, that was
IGN
the
gave
only
it a
game I
6
cared
out of
for.
10. Push Square gave it a 5 out of 10. OpenCritic has that at 64%.
Tough. That's tough.
Yeah.
That's super. Mad Rocks writes in, of course, talking about paying extra. When compared to paying only $70 to play Lies of P 3 days early, paying $100 to play Mortal Kombat early sounds like a scam. Of course, you get more content we talked about as well, but playing it early does change the factor there.
Bear, which one is this?
This is Arizona Sunshine
That's definitely
2.
Arizona
Yeah.
Sunshine.
Arizona Sunshine, I think, looks cool.
Just shooting mindless zombies on an on-rail shooter.
And that's my thing. Like, even though I think it looks cool, I'm like, I don't want to play it.
Yeah. I
Like-
don't know. It's been tough on the VR side of things for me. Nothing excites me like that. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away from the people that do get excited about it, is the thing, right? Like, I understand that there's an audience there, and y'all be going crazy for Arizona Sunshine and like Walking Dead, Saints and Sinners, but it just doesn't do it for me.
You're such a fuck. You're just such a fuck.
Am I wrong? Like, what do you want me to
No,
say?
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Like, cool. You go play Synapse VR, y'all. You have fun with it. I guess it just doesn't do it for me.
Blessing, in this new world of yours, will you allow a PSVR 2?
If I can
wow.
can shape it in my image. If
Your
I can
image.
if I can take PSVR 2 and go, all right, you're gonna be backwards compatible, and also we're gonna have an Astrobot 2 ready for the people at launch, and also we're gonna have at least I don't know, 2 first-party games a year for this thing, exciting ones, not Firewall Ultra. We're gonna have a Spider-Man VR game on this. We're gonna get
Oh.
Half-Life Alyx on this thing, right? Like, we're gonna work. I was gonna say work with the Desert of Beat Saber. They're actually owned by Facebook now. Sorry, Meta. But we're gonna actually like support this thing's library and put the exciting games front and center in state of plays and PlayStation showcases. And it's not gonna be like these games that it's not gonna be Ghostbusters, right? And RE4, these games that you already knew were coming to the platform. No, we're gonna have like new and exciting games with each showcase that are gonna get you guys in, right? We're gonna display the games like before your eyes. We're gonna display games like Trover Saves the Universe, even though that's a whole weird thing. But we're gonna put front and center the shit that's gonna excite people. That's how I'll shape in my image. Like right now, they're just like, I don't know. It doesn't feel like there is a vision for what PSVR 2 is right now on the content side, on like the software side. It doesn't feel like there's somebody who is helming that ship and going, we are gonna sell these things. We're gonna like empty the Best Buy shelves. It just feels like it's there. And so yeah, I'll reshape it in my image.
CJ writes in and says, Tim, is
Yes.
SM2 a big enough jump to earn a GOTY nom?
FM2?
SM.
SM. Oh, Spider-Man. Oh, dude. I mean, look, it's very
it the
difficult
goatee?
to talk about Spider-Man 2 because I feel like it's more Spider-Man, and that is such a great thing. And I think that from what I played, I will be shocked if this is not one of the 6 Game of the Year nominations at Game Awards. Having said that, this year's wild. I don't know. I just don't know how it's going to shake out at the end of the day because of the amount of incredible games and how hard people are going to push the games that they're rocking for. But still, 6 is a big number. And I feel like the there's no chance in hell that come December, the Game Awards nominees don't include Zelda.
Okay.
Baldur's Gate,
right? There's no way they don't include Baldur's Gate 3.
I think those are the 2 locks.
I agree. I think that is the end of that.
Those are our locks from you two. Those are the locks, okay?
Yeah. Nothing else is promised.
And I think nothing else is promised, man, because you get to Starfield, you get to Final Fantasy 16, you get to Spider-Man 2, you get to, the list goes on.
Jedi Survivor, Resident Evil 4. Hi-Fi Rush, please.
Not a chance.
Something's getting left behind. Something is getting left behind.
Many things are going to
Mario Wonder.
You're right. Yeah, many things. Yeah. But yeah, something big is going to get
SpongeBob
left behind.
SquarePants, the Cosmic Shake, you know?
Crazy.
Armored
Diablo
Core
4.
6.
Yeah. It's going to be wild. But I think that, you know, we gotta like call it what it is. And you look at the talent behind Spider-Man, you look at Insomniac, you look at the popularity of Spider-Man as a character of this game franchise. Like I would be shocked if Spider-Man 2 doesn't end up nominated.
Yeah. Spider-Man, this is gonna sound like an insult. It's not, because like, again, this is when we get into the Insomniac thing, right? We always talk about like popularity versus like quality, and like they have both, right? But like the varying levels of it. And I think Spider-Man 2 might be to Game Awards what Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart was to our top 10, where everybody played it and everybody had it on their list, and so automatically it gets high up on our list and wins Game of the Year. I think for Game Awards, not that it's going to win Game of the Year, but I think it ends up on that nominee list because, you know, not everybody's going to play Armored Core 6, not everybody's going to play Diablo 4, not even everybody's going to play Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Every single person, every single outlet is going to have played Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 2, if it lives up to expectation, I think will be on everybody's like, oh yeah, like this is in our top 5, this is in our top 6, this is in our top 10. It'll be on everybody's list and get in that way.
Mr. Ponton 1 in the chat says, why would the popularity of a game affect it? If the game's bad, then it doesn't matter if it's popular. But when it comes to the way the Game Awards work, things are nominated. And for them to be nominated, the more people that played and loved it, the more of a chance it's going to get to be nominated. So that's just how it works. It's how it works every year, and it's never going to change. So it's going to work that way again. Now, having said that, I've played Spider-Man 2. It fucking rocks. I've said in the preview that it reminds me of like going from Mario 3 to Mario World, which that is the utmost compliment. But that also to me means it is just more of the thing you loved that is refined and like, you know, the next gen version. But like, I don't know if that's going to be enough for people necessarily for this or that. I know that for me, it's going to be like this Game of the Year, like my personal top 10, I'm already struggling with. And you start getting into that top 5, that top 3. What a time to be a gamer, y'all.
What a time to be a gamer.
I'll tell you, SM2, I don't love it. I've read a lot of letters and number combos on this screen today.
No one's calling it SM2.
SM2 is not it, y'all. We got to come up with a better one.
They
put the web emoji. Put the web emoji and a man. That's what I want to see.
And a man. We need the man. Here's the thing, Mike. The thing for you, I know me and you love our acronyms when it comes to games. Insomniac and Sony, they're not even calling it SM2. They're trying to put MSM2. For Marvel Spider-Man 2. And to that I say, no, thank you.
Absolutely
no, thank you.
Absolutely, I don't like that at all.
I kind of like it.
No,
you're a little freak though, Bless.
I am a little freak. Like, it's just the fact that they're like, yeah, this will catch on. I'm with them. I support them. I'm gonna start using it. I'm gonna start calling it MSM.
God, in your new world.
In my new world, we're gonna flood
awesome super chats to talk about, and we're going to talk about that over on the afternoon stream. Thank you to so many of you for coming and getting involved. I don't want to hold these two up, and of course we're going to be streaming over on Twitch, having some fun, and we're going to end it with this final one just because Lewis 9000 resubscribed with the Prime Gaming sub for 24 months and says, Tim, what do you think of the new Marvel Snap cards? They're coming hot.
Dude, I can't even keep up, man. Like this season's been the toughest for me. I'm still doing it all. I'm still doing it. But like I have noticed that I'm like, fuck. This is the first time since launch that I'm like, damn it, I have to play today. So we'll see.
YouTube audience, thank you so much for tuning into Games Daily. We would love your support over on Twitch. We are playing Lies of P over there. We're giving away a free code. If you want to watch over there, we'd love your support on this Twitch Bounty sponsored stream. If not, we'll see you at 12:30 for Party Animals. But until then, you have 1 full hour exclusively on Twitch. Be there. Don't be square. Tim, Bless, great job today. As always, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you guys back here on Monday. Goodbye, Games Daily.